Hey guys, Logan here, and welcome back to my MCU series. I'm going to be covering every MCU installment from Phase 1 to Phase 2, leading up to 3 MCU films. One of them already came out more than a month ago, Black Panther, leading up to Avengers Infinity War and Ant-Man and the Wasp. So, I already covered Iron Man, The Incredible Hulk, and Iron Man 2. So, for my 4th MCU review, I'm going to be covering Thor, directed by Kenneth Branagh and starring Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, Anthony Hopkins, and Tom Hiddleston. It's about Thor being banished by Odin, his father Odin, out of Asgard due to the actions that Thor have took and ignoring his father's will or his order to not attack the Frost Giants for a reason, let's just put it that way. And he teams up with Jane Foster, played by Natalie Portman, to come face to face with some government agencies, one of them being S.H.I.E.L.D., because his hammer got sent down to Earth as well, from Asgard. Now, a lot of people saw this movie when it came out in theaters back in 2011, myself included. I watched this movie. The first time I watched this movie, I really liked it, and pretty much everything about it, from the action sequences to the CGI, to Thor, to the characters, to story, everything. The first time I watched it, I really loved this film. However, as I continue to watch it multiple times, I've noticed that every time I do that, the film got progressively worse. Now, it's not to say that it's a bad film. I'm just saying that this film is really not flawless at all. There are issues that I have with it, but let's get into the positives first. And one of the positives that I want to start off with is Chris Hemsworth as Thor. He was really good as Thor. He made a very solid performance as the God of Thunder and the son of Odin, which also played by Anthony Hopkins, who I also thought did a really good job. Natalie Portman, I thought, did a solid job with her performance as Jane Foster, aka the love interest for Thor. I only have one issue with their relationship, and I will get into that in just a few minutes, but let's still talk about the positives for more. Tom Hiddleston was fantastic as Loki, the main villain of the film, playing Thor's brother, even though later on in the film it shows that he's technically not Thor's brother. It's actually his adopted brother, because at one point the film shows that Odin was telling Loki what happened to him at Jotunheim, a realm of the Frost Giants, which, by the way, looked fantastic. The makeup design for these beings, they look amazing. They didn't really come across as like CGI characters that you would notice. They actually they seemed very real. The makeup design for them looked so good. And also, the costume designs for most of the Asgardians in this film looked really eye-catching in a good way. I really thought that everything else, the cinematography, the CGI, for the most part, looked really clean and looked spot on. And the story, while it got a little bit messy, also was relatively decent. I would say the first half of this movie was a little bit more interesting, particularly with the opening scene where Odin gives him some narration about what happened in the war between Asgardians and the Frost Giants. I thought that opening scene alone, the opening battle sequence, was very interesting. So yeah, I already got through with the positives. Let's get down to the negatives. The relationship between Thor and Jane Foster kind of felt was not. It's not really for me. Let's just say that. I felt like the relationship that didn't have very much value to it. I didn't really care very much for the relationship between the two. I mean, I understand why they did that, but like I said, it just didn't really work for me. The relationship between Jane Foster and Thor, there wasn't much to that love interest relationship between Jane Foster and Thor that you can kind of give 2 cents about. It just kind of bores you a little bit, and I didn't really, like I said, care very much about the relationship between the two. Most of the action sequences, minus the opening scene, didn't seem all that remarkable, and I didn't think they were that entertaining for me. The one sequence between Thor and that huge giant Iron Guardian, Asgardian Thane or whatever, I don't know exactly what it's called, but that sequence between them alone, it was kind of cool. And my other issue with the film is that it kind of took itself a little too seriously. There wasn't like very much humor that you could find. There are a few bits of humor there and there, but not by much. This film kind of took itself a little bit too seriously, and and it was unnecessary. Now, it's not to say that I want this film to be like 100% comedy and just want to make you laugh. I don't really need that. It's just that I feel like you need a good balance between having humor in it and having a seriousness in it. Just mesh between the two. I feel like that could have been better. The film could have been better if it had that kind of balance between humor and the seriousness. But it just kind of falls apart on that due to having more seriousness to it than the humor in it. But other than that, I would say that this film was kind of relatively decent. I didn't like this one as much as I liked Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok was a lot better than this film in terms of the comedy, not just the comedy, but the action sequences, the storytelling, and everything else. The characters, the story, the costume designs, and the special effects, everything else. Thor Ragnarok over this one all day, as well as Thor The Dark World, although, yeah, that's a review for another day. I'm going to give Thor a Silver Medal of Honor. So anyway, guys, that is my review for Thor. My next review in my Marvel Cinematic Universe series is going to be for Captain America the First Avenger, and it's going to be up on March 23rd, if I remember correctly. So mark your calendar for March 23rd for my review for Captain America the First Avenger. So anyway, guys, that is about it for now. If you guys enjoyed my review for Thor, please click the like button and comment down below to let me know what you think of this movie. And if you enjoyed what you've seen here and you want to see future videos from me, please press up there to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great week, Battle Squad, and as always, fight the good fight.